And then we finally bit the bullet and bought a wrecked airplane. What did we pay for it? Do you remember?
$300.
Was it 300? And we thought it was all there until we got it home, and then we discovered there was a lot of parts missing.
We towed it home in a rainstorm.
Yeah, we towed it home in a rainstorm. That was the beginning of a long rebuild project. What do you remember during that time?
Okay, so I remember when we had it in the garage, and he had to do a lot of welding to build a frame on the fuselage.
Brian and I would sit out and do our homework in it. I mean, that was our homework place. Yeah.
And every year, the kids at the school would all go on this little field trip down to the Peck's house to look at the airplane.
That was the kids in my class.
In your class. Then the time come when the wings were covered, and I helped sew those wings, didn't I? With big long needles this long.
The rib stitching.
Rib stitching. You had to go straight in this way and then back up with needles this long.
Dad made the needles out of welding rod. Yeah, filed off or ground a point on one end and drilled a hole, smashed the other end and drilled a hole in it. I remember ironing the Dacron.
And after we put it on, then you iron it and it just shrinks up tight on there. And look, then when you start painting it, it almost feels like metal. But the day came when it was all painted yellow and everything was painted on it, and we rented a U-Haul truck and put the fuselage in there and the wings and went out to the local airport.
Yeah, I remember out at the airport the day the inspectors were coming to, make it all official, and I was coached on what to say and what not to say about the airplane. And I remember being so excited that day, I could not wait until the inspector came and inspected that plane, because we were going to get in it right then and there and go fly it. I just could not wait.
Yeah.
Seemed like it took forever for that process to be over.
Well, the time came, eventually we moved to Van Air, which was a flying community, and we had bought the show home, which had a garage that also was a hangar. And so we had room in there for the airplane and our cars. And Ed he built all in there too, eventually. And then the day came when we were going to move south. Were we going down to the ranch then?
I think so.
We bought the ranch after that down in Elizabeth. We hardly fit in that little house, but we loved it because we were on 60 acres and there was this old shed. It was a cattle shed. And Dan converted it into a hangar for the airplane. But it was just a three-sided shed, and the one side was open. Well, that first winter, we had a hellacious snowstorm. In one day, we had snowdrifts 13 feet tall, and it went in there, the snow, and completely buried that airplane.
That was the saddest day of my life. I just remember just being in tears.
Let's see, what do you call the airport?
Dead Stick Air Ranch.
Dead Stick Air Ranch.
I found one dead.
So that's the beginnings.
The other day.
So I remember, flying with Dad. When I was young, he would always do the heart attack thing.
Gosh.
I hated that.
You all didn't tell me, evidently, that this is what happened. I didn't know forewarning.
It takes all the fun out of it.
Tell you.
Nobody told me. And he's like,
I would take the Cub and go over to my friend's house and shoo the cows away in the field by them.
fly low and get rid of them, and then go
And then
back.
land and pick them up and leave.
Party.
Really?
Yeah,
Dad, can I borrow the airplane today?
yeah. And then Bob,
What's that?
Marty K Baker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then,
Her dad flew for United Airlines, too.
yeah. And then Bob Mon and I, he was my flying buddy. Yeah. And we would get in the Cub and come out to Elbert County, where we live now.
Oh, yeah.
And we would just look for old farmhouses, old farmsteads. And again, we would buzz the cows and scatter them, and we'd land and we'd go just snoop around in the old farmsteads. We didn't take anything because we couldn't put it
Have
in
the
the car.
extra weight on the plane.
You're just saying that because you're on film. I remember making the movie. No one thing from that young sticks out except other than the movie. I remember specific things about that. Somebody
there hasn't
said,
been a loose
I
screw in the muffler
specifically
since.
remember
He's
somebody
like 3
saying,
years
okay, now
old,
you're the
4 or
mechanic,
5.
Right.
so
So fix something.
fix the plane. And I remember turning around towards the plane thinking, what am I going to do? And so I just shoved it up the tailpipe. And I remember saying something, somebody saying, oh, that's good, that's great.
Good
I'm
job.
like,
Keep doing
yeah,
it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Speaking of spins, remember the flat spin you and Dad got in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Almost ended it.
That was scary.
Dad was in the back seat.
Okay.
And Danny was in the front, and Danny had entered the spin, and
On purpose. Yeah.
yeah, on purpose. And then Dad was thinking, it's getting about time to recover, and he went to, have her recover, and she was already trying to recover. They're just trying everything, and
Yeah.
nothing's working, and it's spinning. And I remember Dad saying, he says, I'm watching this tuft of grass. It's getting bigger and bigger. And he says, and then he says, I still to this day don't know how we got out of it,
Oh.
but we recovered, and I could see the individual blades of grass in that clump of pasture.
Well, the thing is, I posted some pictures when you guys were flying. It's amazing how many people from my past,
Remember that?
remember that, and
Same
they're like,
with me.
Really?
I
Yeah.
had a lot. Hey, is that the
Same
thing back at the farm? You guys,
yeah,
That's the one.
they remember it.
yeah. It was.
Well, a lot
Probably
of our
this
farms
audience
had
back
rides.
there remembers.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Well, and as you said, it has become a symbol of our family. Or did you say that the other day? I can't remember. Yeah. That.
Yeah, well,
And
it's
has
like-
been such an identifier for all of us, whether we, did flying seriously or not seriously.